Hello friends, welcome back. I am trying to get some things done around here. Not just projects for the sake of getting projects done, to fix things, to do more work, but getting things fixed in order to have some fun. Let's see what's ahead of us. All right, so as you can see, I have this massive toy hauler behind me. This is a 45-foot long 3-axle toy hauler. And also I have my boat here. Sometimes life gets ahead of you, and I'm gonna go ahead and head off some of the comments there. I know there's gonna be people who think they're funny saying boat stands for break out another 1,000. Yeah, I heard that one when I was 4 years old. You know, a lot of people have jaded opinions on boats and campers and talking about how they're just nothing but work. That has not been my experience. I love boats. I've been around them my whole life. I've owned multiple boats. This was my first camper. Do I wish that I have had the time that I've been able to use them on a weekly basis like I used to? Absolutely. Is that what's best for any type of mechanical piece of equipment to keep them in good working order? Yes, it definitely is. But I'm not concerned. This boat here, I am the second owner. It has, for the majority of its life, been stored inside, whether it be the original owner, who is a relative of mine, or since I've had it. So this thing has been protected. I have done a good job at doing the services on it, running it periodically, even if not in water, hooking it up to a hose, running it. Right now, it's dirty. It's been here in my shop. I haven't had the cover on it for a little while because I've been in and out doing some work. So it is dirty. 2:31 p.m. and 18 seconds. Sorry. So the boat needs a good cleaning. I had put a fresh battery in that. Actually, no, I didn't. I was able just to put that on the battery tender, get it charged. But I did have it running several months ago, and then before we had a freeze, I winterized it. So this thing just needs a little TLC. The camper, it is, let's see, how old is this thing now? It is 8 years old. 9 years old. And it's just like anything, boats, campers, a lot, you can look at the same model built in the same year, and there are going to be differences depending on which employee actually put them together. There's a lot of custom work that goes into these things. And I'm not crazy about some of the way things that were installed in this. So the battery boxes, they installed them just by running a self-drilling screw through the battery box, through the floor of the camper itself. There was some corrosion that had occurred from the batteries. Fortunately, it was contained within the boxes, went through this drain hole here. But there was just some mess to clean up. So I got all that cleaned out, prepped the surface here, and then did just a thin bed liner, a spray-in bed liner in here. So this area, hopefully it shows up well on camera. Instead of just having the bare aluminum floor, now it is all coated in bed liner. But I don't just want to go back in with these screws like they had done from the factory, because when you go under this thing, if you're having to do any work, I don't like a screw sticking out 3/4 of an inch that is going to scratch my back or whatever. So what I am going to do is use the original hole locations, because they line up with the holes in the battery boxes, and I am going to use these thread certs. So I have this thread cert with a screw with a wide flat head. So I'm going to drill the holes in the floor here out to 25/64 of an inch to accommodate the outer diameter of this thread cert. And then I will have to put in there, I'm going to use a longer bolt with a nut, and then they'll flare as I tighten down on it. It's going to flare out to basically form this like a rivet into this thin panel here. And then I can run these screws down and have a nice install on these battery boxes the way I think it should have been originally from the factory. So yeah, I'm going to work on getting this done. I am under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Not sure when it's going to hit, but we are under that warning, it looks like, for the next 9 hours. So if it gets bad, I'm going to head over back to the house, get out of the shop here. But I think that storm is still about 2 hours away from really getting on top of us. So I'm going to try to get this done, get these battery boxes installed, so that way tomorrow one of my friends is going to be able to take me to get 2 new batteries, and I'll be able to get those new batteries installed and start moving on to some other things that need attention on this awesome toy hauler. All right, I'm gonna get started installing the first box in the back here. So you can see there's a couple holes. I'm gonna utilize those, drill those out. The thread cert that I'm using called for a 25/64 hole. The closest drill bit I had is a 23/64. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one, and hopefully it works out for me. So got that in the drill here, gonna get it lined up and gonna start drilling these out. Just gonna try one and see how it goes in case I have to adjust and do something different. All right, gonna see if I can get this done one-handed. Fortunately, it is thin metal, so I don't have to worry about being super straight on this hole. Okay, got that done. So now let me get my thread certs and the bolt and nut and everything I'm going to use to get that clamped in there, and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so what I'm working with is this is going to be an internal thread of an M6. So I have an M6 bolt way longer than what I need. The threads go all the way through here. I have a washer on top and a nut. Actually, I need to get those reversed. I just had that in there from when I brought it over. So let me flip that around and get this in here, and then I'll show you how I'm going to tighten this. Okay, I always get nervous installing things like this. I just get very nervous about over drilling something and then not fitting right. So I had actually started with a 11/32 drill bit, which is 22/64. That was not big enough. Then I went to a 3/8, which is 24/64. That didn't quite fit. So then I went to my 25/64 drill bit, and it fits perfectly. So I have that installed. You can see from the underside where I have that hanging down right there. So I am going to take a couple 10mm wrenches. Let me try to get some light in here. Okay. Use the light from the drill here. Okay. So that kind of lights that up. So I have that bolt in here. I have a 10mm nut. So I am going to, or an M6 bolt and an M6 nut, which takes 10mm wrenches. So I'm going to put that on here. It is going to take both of my hands, but I'm going to start tightening down this lower nut while holding the upper bolt still and trying to pull that thread cert tight to flare it out on the bottom. And there you go. So it does take a pretty good amount of force to get that flared, but yeah, that is solid now. So it has pulled it in, and it has created a ring that has the thread cert, blind nut, whatever you want to call it, sandwiched around the floor here. So now I'm backing out my little makeshift installation tool. They do make installation tools, but I don't have one. And the last one. So for screws, I end up going with these very low profile wide head Allen screws. And so use my T-handle Allen to get those installed. So now, of course, black box inside of a black cabinet doesn't show up very well, but have that back box installed. Once again, I know the holes or those screws where they're located are not symmetrical, but I didn't want to drill more holes. I just used the existing ones that the manufacturer had put in there. So that's why they are a little uneven. And same is going to apply with this one. I'm going to get this box cleaned up a little bit before I install it. All right, and there you go for now. Got both battery boxes back in here. And so I'm going to call it quits for now, get cleaned up and get some dinner fixed. And tomorrow I'm going to be taking those big batteries to exchange them and get a couple new ones. And we'll get those in here. We'll get these lids back on here and get all these wires hooked up. And so then I won't just be relying on shore power. Trying to get everything going again on battery power so I can get this moved out of the shop and be able to get the boat moved around so I can get some things done on that. And I am going to be getting this huge camper polished up and ceramic coated. And like I said, there's just a couple little odds and ends that I know I need to attend to on it, like the central vac, one of the connectors. There's been something going on with one of the electrical connectors on it where when you plug the hose in, it's supposed to complete the circuit and turn itself on. It stays running all the time, so you have to flip the breaker on and off. So I want to get that fixed and correct. But yeah, other than that, I know I have a little bit of work to do on the back end, have a light to replace and have a dent to fix on one of the fenders. That's a story I will be telling you about. But yeah, need to get that fixed before I can get it all polished up and ceramic coated. So yeah, next steps tomorrow. Be back soon. All right, so got that big panel removed off the back of the camper. And while we're at it, we had to remove this trim piece from around the steps going to the back door. And my buddy Todd had a good idea to see about getting this reproduced in aluminum. So it'd look a lot better and be a lot more durable than these cheap little plastic pieces that came on the camper. So over here at the store, I had some aluminum angle pieces that match this pretty much perfectly. So I'm gonna bring those with us, see if we can get those fabbed into two pieces, replace these around both the back and the front door, and then also need to see about getting a replacement for this light on the back, that rear right marker light that goes on this bent panel. So yeah, we're gonna load these up, take these down to an awesome trailer and tire shop, locally owned family business, Trout Tire and Trailer. They've been around for decades, and see what we can get done over there. Okay, back at my shop again. So got with Mr. Brian over there at Trout, and he asked me to give him a day or two to get that panel made up. So that should be good. Unfortunately, on this one with the aluminum, they don't have a aluminum welder either. So I'm gonna have to work on something else there. So I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna bring them back here by the workbench. And yeah, I got one other thing I was able to pick up. All right, so what I was able to pick up when I was over at Trout were these new marker lights. So I asked Brian to match up this one here. This is a pretty common incandescent marker light, but that was from a decade ago. The closest thing he had, it's the exact same shape of a backing, Same color. It is a 2-wire hookup, and it has 2 LEDs instead of the 1 incandescent. So I told him go ahead and sell me 2. I mean, you can't see them, they're on opposite sides of the trailer, but I'm gonna go ahead and change out those back 2 so they match. And I told him I'm gonna want to start going through the whole trailer anyways and replacing all the other marker lights that are on it with LEDs. So this is a good place to start. Forced me to do something. So yeah, got these, but really excited. Can't wait to get that panel back in about a day or two. Today is Tuesday, so by Thursday or Friday, end of the week, I should get that panel back, and hopefully this weekend get that thing painted and back on the trailer so I can move on with some of these other projects. I'm getting more and more excited. Once we get all this stuff done, I have some trim pieces that are already ordered and have the rolls of all the trim material that goes all the way up the backside, all the way across the top and around the front, on both sides of the trailer. So I have that, gonna change all that stuff out. And then I'm gonna be getting the same people out here who cleaned up and ceramic coated my tractor. I'm gonna have them do that on this whole trailer. And all the aluminum around the side patio, around the back patio and ramp for the garage, I'm gonna get all that aluminum polished up and have it nice and shiny. This thing is gonna look great. Gonna be putting some new tires on it. Tires are in good shape, but they are 10 years old now. Don't like taking chances with old tires like that, especially with something this heavy. You have a blowout on a camper or on boat trailers, they're gonna be tearing something up. I don't wanna have a tire blowout and then break trim pieces, bend up more fenders. So I want to start using this thing regularly again, so I'm putting 6 brand new tires on it. All right, well, let me get things packed up. This is probably going to be it for today. I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow. Good night. Hello again, back here in the shop. Got this panel back on here. It is by no means perfect, but way better than it was. Got the crease and everything out of it. Got it fit back under the trim on both sides. Have about 4 screws holding it in. I need to get some of the that putty tape from over at the store, get that over on that seam so I can get the trim piece screwed back on all the way across there. And then gonna get some different waterproof connectors and some heat shrink, and gonna get that done right when I put the light back on here, when I put the new light on here, the LED that I'm switching over to. So yeah, need to run over to the store and get a few more parts, and then I want to get this wrapped up today, and then I'll start going through and changing out the other lights from incandescents to LEDs. And then Alfred, of course, is laying down on the job again.
See.
Trying to get this stupid sweet gum tree cut out of the clearing head that I got wrapped clear around this thing.
It's not sweet gum. It's actually a kryptonite tree.
Yeah, pretty much. I hate these things. They're if you've ever been around them, they're so high in moisture content that they don't chip up nicely like a oak does or something. If it's a small enough one, it'll suck the whole tree in there and it'll spit it out in kind of these shredded pieces. But this one was just over the limit for this clearing head. It was probably a 7-inch diameter tree, and this thing is rated for 6-inch diameter trees, and I was trying to avoid cutting it down, and it did not work out for me. And so yeah, it literally wrapped the tree around this thing. So I've been trying to get it cut out of here for a while, but today is the day, gotta get it done. All right, finally got the panel back on here. When I put this strip on here, I used this putty tape. So yeah, that is always fun to work with. It wasn't too bad, honestly. But yeah, I just laid out that strip across my lap and ran the putty tape down it, just guiding it as I went. It attached really nicely. Got to the end, just sliced it off with a utility knife, and then pulled the the plastic backing off of it, held it up here, pulled out the first screw that I had holding this panel on temporarily, got that lined up and attached, then just kind of worked my way down. I had enough movement with this aluminum trim piece to get the screw pulled out, put it back in. So I just need to go along here now, clean out some of the putty that has squeezed out underneath. So yeah, I'll get all that cleaned up, and then it'll be ready to continue polishing out the whole camper and get it all ceramic coated. So that's gonna look a lot better when I can get the whole thing looking back like this again. I grabbed some stuff from the store to redo this light. So I'm gonna take off these connectors. Even though these are gonna be up inside a panel, I still don't like connectors that can get humidity, get moisture inside of them, and get corrosion. So I'm gonna pull those off. I have some of the solder seal connectors that you push the wires in, you heat it up, melt the solder, forms a nice weatherproof connector because it has that solder on the inside, and then the connector itself is like heat shrink, and it'll shrink down and make it a nice weather tight connector. So I'm going to make a couple pigtails. I'd already pulled one off this other wire, so I'm gonna remove that pigtail, gonna remove these connectors and start to get that up. Plus I'm gonna wrap the whole thing in heat shrink, so it's gonna be nice and good as I go. And then as I start to replace the other lights around the trailer, I'll do those upgrades on those wire connectors as well. So yeah, let me regroup and get on to this next task and start getting these new LEDs installed. Hello. It is Saturday evening. It has been a very long day at my store. Yeah, running around, lots of adventures. Oh my gosh, if I could tell you some of the stories, some of the things that we have to deal with. Operating a hardware store, owning a business, is not what you would think it would be. We have so many surprises to deal with almost every day. So yeah, got to deal with our local law enforcement again this morning. But here I am back in the shop. It's after 7 o'clock. I'm gonna try to get this marker light wired up, and then I can go inside and get some dinner and get ready to head to the Texas Trucking Show in the morning. I am so excited. I just got home and saw a video of Bruce Wilson, great YouTuber, out there with the setup of the Texas Trucking Show, and he was going crazy over the Tamiya 1/14 scale RC trucks and construction equipment. I have a lot of those here at the house. I'll try to shoot a clip to show you some of the ones I have that I've built over the years. But a lot of fun. Okay, so these are some of my 1/14 scale models, or close to it. Some of them aren't perfect, but all the Tamiya stuff is 1/14 scale. Where do I start? This is my first one. This is a Freightliner Cascadia. This is a discontinued model. This one was really cool. I was so lucky to get this one. Wasn't the first one I wanted to start with, but one of my employees at the time helped me find this one on eBay, I believe. And he was like, hey, this is the same thing as the Ace delivery trucks. And it's like, yes, it is. Tamiya's trucks are normally generic. Like this one, of course, I've put a custom grill on it with the Peterbilt logo and everything. But this one, the globe liner, are just kind of generic representations of kind of what a Peterbilt or a Kenworth looked like during that era. Of course, there's lots of guys that have custom bodies, 3D printed, accurate things. But this one was actually licensed as a Freightliner Cascadia. So yeah, right when I was getting into this hobby, I knew this was a discontinued model, found it, was so lucky to get one because those things are highly sought after. This one, I really like. Actually, this is the next one I got. So built this whole kit. Did a lot of custom work on it. This one actually came from Tamiya. This is a black edition. So all the paint that's on it was from Tamiya. I added a lot of other stuff like the custom headache rack, the lighting, all those, the flashing lights, which up here I have a big lowboy trailer that I have the matching strobe lights on the tail end of that. The trailer is actually wired for working taillights, running lights, brake lights, turn signals, plugs into the truck. And so as the truck turns, the truck turn signals come on, so do the trailers. Same thing with the running lights, brake lights, all that. So all these units have the Tamiya MFC controller in it. So that controls the sound, the vibration, all the lighting. Really cool trucks. This one I built as a replica when I was still working in the construction business. I had purchased a big tub grinder. It was, I believe, a 10-foot diameter tub grinder. Duratec was the manufacturer. This one, it was kind of a combination of the Duratec tub grinder and the hay buster. It had the big grapple and everything, but it was built to the Duratec hammer mill specs for heavy applications. But when I bought that tub grinder for the company, the guy had a 1990 Freightliner cab over, and he offered it as a package deal. So I opted to purchase the tractor as well. So I built this as a tribute truck to that one. Pretty cool. I got some footage with that truck actually when I was up in Colorado last summer. I'll see if I can find that and include it. Thinking about doing a whole other video on that one. So if y'all are interested, I shot enough footage that day when we were doing a will it start. It wasn't the intent of doing a will it start video, but I wanted to know if it would start. I would like to get that truck and do something with it. That's gonna be a lot to get it moved 1,100 miles to get it down here. But let me know if you're interested. If enough y'all want to see it, I might do something with that. But yeah, some of this other stuff, I like having this John Deere 9RX on that lowboy trailer. I do also have that smaller. It's not exactly a scale. I think that one's a 1/16, but it looks close enough. So the big silver one I like to have on this Peterbilt truck, and the black trailer I like to put behind the Freightliner cab over. I also have this in here as well. This is a fully functioning hydraulic little forklift. This thing weighs a lot. I know the size is pretty deceptive as small as it is, but all the lines in here are real hydraulics. The chains, these are real little chains in here for lifting the mast. That thing can lift a lot of weight. And this is just a brooder model. When I had purchased the John Deere 5075 tractor, I saw on the shelf at my store, I had this guy, 5075. So I purchased that to go on my shelf here. But then I have a couple other trailers I built somewhere in here. Oh yeah, down on the floor there is another trailer. Another float trailer. And then this of course is a much longer trailer that I had built to look like an Ace delivery truck with the store logo and everything to match with the Cascadia. So a fun little hobby, something I got into during COVID. I'd go home at night and I'd build these suckers. So yeah, let me know if y'all would like to see us playing around with these. I know Alfred's been pestering me about doing some games, doing some challenges where we set up courses and run these things around and just unwind. So let me know if that's something y'all are interested in. I can make that happen too. I was really looking forward to going to this trucking show tomorrow, but now I'm super stoked. So yeah, gotta try and get this knocked out, get some food because I am starving. It's been a long day. I'm tired. And I was just texting back and forth with Alfred about that video, and he responded. He saw the same thing. He's super stoked. He's been bugging me, wanting me to bring mine from the shelves in my study, and hopefully once I get done with this toy hauler and stuff, we'll bring them out here to the shop and we'll run them around on the floor in here and maybe have a little fun. But yeah, let me get you set up on a tripod and try to get some work done here. Okay, let's see what we got. I do not like stripping wires. I can't see what I'm doing, so I have to do it all by feel. Let's see. Usually I err on the side of going with a bigger gauge so I don't cut the strands, and if it doesn't strip right, then I go to the next size down. Go from there. Sorry about my voice. I don't know what is going on. It must be allergies or something, because I have not had a voice for the last couple weeks now. I do like these new wire strippers I just got from the store. Gardner Bender, really good quality. I'm gonna turn the camera off for just a minute so I can use the magnifier to take a look at that. Heat gun was not enough. Had to go over to the house. It did the heat shrink portion of the connector, but not the solder. So I had to go get a Zippo. Okay, gonna take a close look at that again, and hopefully I melted all the solder and have a good connection. Okay, I think we're good now with that. Debating whether or not I even need to put the heat shrink on this, because I mean that's what that's made for. Let me get the other side ready. If it'll fit, total of 4 wires, 4 14 gauge wires in this at a time, I might group all these together and heat shrink all that. Man, I love how easily these things clip. These are nice, and I really like how wide they open too. It's so satisfying when you get a high quality tool. I mean, that is just so effortless. And I have to do all this by feel because I cannot see what I'm doing. So I know some of you are probably wondering why I'm holding him someplace for so long or not enough. I am just guessing. I'm hoping I'm heating the right spot. And yes, that's very hot. And I know I shouldn't be touching it, but that's what I have to do. Okay. So back to the heat shrink. That's the solder seal. What I'm hoping is that obviously these two are going to fit in just fine. But I'm hoping this is going to go over the whole area where I have a total of 4 wires. So if I want to do that, I'm going to have to get some bigger stuff. Okay, trying to get y'all situated there on this tripod. Okay, I'm going to go about things a little differently here. So I cut off the old connectors they had here with that wire nut type connector. The new light has really nice long leads on it, and I had plenty coming out of the trailer. I was starting to do these little pigtails like they had on there before, but that's just another connector that needs to be in there, and that's not necessary. So I'm getting that snipped off. I'm going to strip these back again. And there's a bird on the roof. I'll restrip this one here. I realized I could feel that I had used the wrong, that's why it was so hard for me to strip that one. I had used the wrong gauge size. And I cut through some of the strand, so don't want to do that wrong, so doing it over. Okay. Getting these twisted together here. Going into one side of the solder seal connector. All right, a new light. They come pre-stripped, but they still leave the casing on there for protection. So pulling that off, getting the wire pushed in to the other side of the connector. Man, those birds are making a lot of noise out there. Okay. Casing pulled off of that wire, so now that can go into here. Focusing in the middle of the connector to get that solder to melt, and then going to the ends for the heat shrink portion to shrink down on the wires. Okay, that one works better. Giving it a little tug. Feels like that solder has made a nice seal there. I'm going to use the heat gun just to try to get that heat shrink down just a little further. Okay. Now my old light still had the screws in here, so I'm going to reuse those for the new one. Good. Screw holes are the same with the new ones. Okay, so just going to get this tucked back in here. Where in the world is my screw hole? Here we are. Okay. All right, that is secure. Got the new lens to go on here. There we go. Much better, finally. Oh my gosh. So, someone who used to work for me had a whole pallet of soil on a sloped driveway uphill of where this camper was parked, and he let it go, and it slowly took off and went across the driveway. The whole thing was caught on video. I think somewhere I may still have the footage. I don't know. But yeah, got to watch the painful image of about a 3,000 pallet of soil just go across the driveway and smash into this back corner. So it had crushed the light and just put a nice crease in this panel. My plan was to make a whole new panel. Just didn't have the resources for a 6-foot long piece to get it bent. Went to one of my friends that owns Trout Tire and Trailer. Brian was very happy to help me with it. Unfortunately, their press, they couldn't get that really crisp edge on this gauge of steel. So he straightened it out as best they could for me. So yes, it is not perfect, but it is way better than it was. And so they don't make these. And so I bought a new one from him. Actually, afterwards, I ended up checking when I was looking to buy more. Saw that I could get them from one of my vendors. But, you know, while I'm at it, I'm a huge fan of LED lighting. So I am going to be upgrading the whole thing from incandescents. That way I don't have to worry about lights burning out at some point. LEDs are just much more reliable. And they look pretty cool. I think these with all the little lights in it are gonna look really sharp when this thing is lit up at night. So I cannot wait to get this thing all polished out, new LED lights. Eventually, as I find time, I'd like all the aluminum around the door here and the patio door on the side. I wanna get all that polished out. I think it's just gonna look really sharp. So yeah, there you go. That is finally done. That thing was damaged, I want to say back during COVID. So this is 4 or 5 years ago now. That thing has been smashed. Yeah, a lot of my stuff has gotten put on the back burner for years, but I'm trying to prioritize it, get my stuff taken care of so I can actually enjoy it, get out and use it. So yeah, moving on. Yesterday, Alfred did finish getting the clearing head unclogged from that sweet gum that was wrapped around it. I don't even remember what all I had going on yesterday evening, but it wasn't until probably 9 o'clock at night that I was going to put everything back in the shop here, and this was sitting outside from me finishing. After he got the most of it cut out of there, I had to use my tree trick to get that wheel spun to back the rest of it out. So yeah, instead of me just putting the machine back inside and parking everything else, I decided to run it. So I ran it for probably an hour. I think I cleared undergrowth out of about 1/4 acre, so that was working my way around larger trees. Want to get back in there during the daylight and see that. Yeah, it felt good to make some progress in there last night. Hadn't run this machine in over a month since that's been clogged. So yeah, it was fun to run it. Sure it's gonna look good when I get into the woods to see what we had going on there. But for now, I'm gonna call it a night. Before I get too further along with those lights, there's a couple, I think 3 more that I can do that are low. But then I'm gonna need to get a tall ladder over here so I can get the upper ones done. I'm gonna replace all the rubber trim on the whole trailer. And hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna get that whole thing polished out and ceramic coated. And that will be off my to-do list. And I'm planning a trip to enjoy it. The boat is coming along. I need to finish polishing that, getting it all washed. So those should be done about the same time. Not sure when I'm going to get the swim platform. I'm probably about 5 weeks out still for that being shipped to me. So hopefully I'll be taking the boat and the camper out before then. But then, here probably towards the end of the summer, it'll be getting into August at that point. I'll get the swim platform on and hopefully get to put it in the water again and try that out. So yeah, stay tuned. Gonna get some shots tomorrow at the Texas trucking show. Really excited. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, share. It really is a huge help to me. Yeah, this is just a young fledgling channel still, but please, 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 doesn't cost you anything. Please subscribe to the channel and help it grow. Let me know what kind of content you want. I love seeing the comments that people share with me from all over the world. It's been pretty cool seeing stuff from people in Australia, and I think I've gotten some comments over in Europe. But yeah, please, please, please comment, like, subscribe. Let me know. I mean, y'all are seeing a lot of my stuff. What else you want me to work on? Do you have questions? Do you need help with something? Do you want me to waste my time and effort working on something first, making the mistakes so I can show you what not to do? So yeah, give me that feedback. Much appreciated. See y'all soon. Bye.